Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Paladins of Voltron, an unofficial podcast about the Netflix original series Voltron Legendary Defender. I'm your host, Jeremy, and this is my other host, Jason. How are you doing, Jason?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
And if you would like to leave us feedback, please leave us a comment on our site, or you can email feedback@povpodcast.com. You can follow us on Twitter and leave us and talk to us there at POV_podcast, or contact us on Facebook at POV Podcast. We're going to be talking about Season 2, Episode 6, The Ark of Taujeer. This is directed by Chris Palmer and written by Mark Bimsterfer. I'm sorry. That's
I'm no help. Sorry.
It's a very hard last name. So, Planet Taujeer, Marvok, the Galra commander, has disabled all but one engine on an Ark that the local population has built. The planet is slowly disintegrating after the Galra have stripped it of all its resources. On the Castle of Lions, Allura and Keith both think that they are the reason that Zarkon has tracked them. Pidge suspects it's the Black Lion instead, but Cran shuts that down quickly and doesn't think that that's true, because there's been no record of a connection between a lion and a paladin from that distance. Shiro decides that it's time to stop running and they need to go on the defensive. With a Galra finder that Pidge creates, they find some near the planet Taujeer that's they can reach, and they plan to go attack them the following day. In his quarter, Keith is staring at his dagger when he has a vision of the red lion eating him, and then he sees himself in Galra armor and hears Zarkon say, "I can find you anywhere." When he wakes up, he decides to leave the castle, now convinced that Zarkon is somehow tracking him. However, before he gets into a pod, he sees Allura doing the same. They join up and take a pod out into space. The next morning, the team assembles, and they discover that Keith and Allura have escaped. Shiro orders them back, but they refuse and lose communication as the castle hits a debris field from the dying planet of Taujeer. They land near the Ark and talk to the leader of the Taujeerans. The Taujeer knew that the planet was about to shed this outer layer and had set up a colony on their moon, but due to the damage of their ship, they're now unable to escape. The team offers to help, even though they only have 4 of the 5 lions. In deep space, Allura and Keith have a conversation about the Galra. Keith tries to convince her that there are possibly good Galra in the galaxy, but she refuses to believe that any one Galra could be good. Elsewhere, Zarkon has located the Paladins and contacts Marvok with the coordinates. Marvok sucks up to Zarkon for a bit, then agrees to go back to Taujeer. On Taujeer, the team tries to come up with a way to slow down the planet's destruction. They use Pidge's new lion ability to create seams of vegetation along the cracks, and then Lance freezes it with his new ability. And with the surface stabilized for a bit, they start repairs on the ship. As they start getting it repaired, the Galra return and attack. Hunk gets under the ship and tries to hold it up, while Shiro issues orders from the team. Before Karan joins the fight, he contacts Keith and Allura and tells them to get back. Keith tries the booster that Pidge had installed on the ship, but it promptly ejects them and the ship explodes. Marvok is then ordering the full arsenal used against the Lions, but the Lions are too quick, and so he orders the ion cannon to be used against the Ark to lure the Lions together. The Black Lion damages the ion cannon, while the Galra recover and focus their other cannons on the castle. Karan tries to go and talk the Red Lion into letting him pilot it, but the Lion just grunts a little and then flies out of the castle instead. Hunk is having problems holding up the ship, and suddenly he's able to make a deeper connection to his lion, and it develops armored claws and a thruster on his back that helps him hold up the ship. The other lions then join them to help push the ship up, and seeing that they're together, the Galra all fire on their location. But just as they're about to fire the ion cannon, Keith shows up in the Red Lion, which found them, Keith shows up in the Red Lion, which had found him and Allura, and destroys the cannon. Keith then joins the other, and they're able to stabilize the ship and form Voltron. With no more weapons, Marvok orders the ship to be aimed at the Ark and ram it. Voltron forms his sword, and then the Paladins notice that their lions are trying to tell them something, and they use their Bayards, and the sword becomes big enough to take down the entire Galra ship by slicing it down its belly. Voltron then picks up the Taujeer ship and flies it away to the moon colony. Back in the castle, Keith and Allura apologize for leaving, but thanks to the Red Lion being able to find Keith, they determine that it is indeed the Black Lion. That's how Zarkon is finding them. And that is the episode 6, the Ark of Taujeer. So again, I think this was an action-packed episode. We get some hints for some things in the future regarding Keith. We get another new lion ability in the Yellow Lion this time. And, I think it's nice that they're actually building on, they're learning as they're going on, which is, nice to see in the cartoon.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you noticed about this?
Well, I think immediately the first thing I noticed in this episode is that the lead what are they called? Targereans? Targereans?
I don't know.
But the lead guy is voiced by Jim Cummings,
Oh.
which as
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh, or of course Darkwing Duck, because let's get dangerous. I can recognize Jim Cummings' voice anywhere.
They reminded me of those little bears from Thundercats and how they talked.
Oh my goodness. I haven't thought about those in 30 years.
Yeah.
Maybe 25, but yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, and it's funny because that's probably about the same. It's a very similar voice, robotic voice they lay over probably Frank Welker when he did Soundwave back in the day.
Yeah.
Like if it was if he had a deeper voice, it probably would have sounded just like him. So that was I like how they're throwing in more special guests and stuff for voices on the show. I enjoy that a lot. And yeah, obviously Keith leaves because he thinks maybe it's something to do with the blade that he has. That Zarkon's tracking him through there. And Allura, of course, leaves. So we get some good character moments between the two of them. Also, we find out that, and it's kind of hard to blame her after everything that's happened, but Allura wants nothing to do with any Galra, whether they...
Yeah, she's a little bit of a space racist. It is kind of understandable, but, not believing that there's a single good person in a particular race.
Yeah, that is definitely, she definitely fits the definition. And because she's in space, we can, of course, use the ever popular space racist moniker. And it's watching the team work without the full complement. And one of the Targereans the lead Targereans even like, with the 5, wait, there's only 4. Are you not Voltron? Like he starts questioning them because there's not a 5th lion.
Yeah, then when Shiro says, we'll still be able to help, he's like, well, I feel a little bit more confident with all 5.
And the moment with Hunk and the Yellow Lion, when they're, when Hunk's really doing everything he can to try to stop the Ark from falling in, and the lion recognizes that, and it basically unlocks the lion's power to be able to grow the armor, or to, generate that extra armor. Mm-hmm. And it's you're seeing the lions have powers that are triggered by the Bayards, and they have powers that are triggered just by having a connection with their paladins. So it's nice to see that there's like 2 ways that you can really take control of your line and do stuff. Their plan to get the planet to stay together a little bit was really cool, with the vines in Lance Freedom and stuff. It's nice to see how much of a well-oiled team they are. It really adds a lot to the show, I think. What
I really noticed was just Shiro just kind of shouting out commands, and they don't even question. They're like, okay, it's like, Hunk, you get under there and try to hold it up. Pidge and Lance, go do this. And it's just, it shows how good of a leader he is. And then just the other guys respect him so much, they just do it.
Yeah, exactly. And especially at the end for Hunk's like, I think my lion's trying to tell me something, and everyone goes, yeah, mine too. And Shiro's like, well, do it.
Yeah, because he doesn't have a Bayard.
Well, not only that, he's like, don't tell me about it, guys. Do it.
Yeah.
And of course, we get the Giganto sword out of it. So, and it's nice moments like that. Like Shiro as a leader, I think is written very well.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I don't think I'm ever going to say a character in the show is written poorly. So far, so good on that front, at least. But yeah, Shiro's a good leader who doesn't, he doesn't really take any gruff or anything, but he's fair and definitely leads well. So,
yeah. What did you think about the Galra leader, Marvok?
I knew when he was giving that speech at the end where he's like, we will die, and then we will die with them or something. And he goes, yeah, ready my shuttle. I was like, I knew that was coming. And he was good too. I like how the Galra Empire, the only reason the Galra Empire is still around is because Zarkon's so BA. Like the rest of his lieutenants and stuff, they're pretty crappy.
Right.
They're either Robeast material or they, I think Marvok is like getting stuff out of his teeth when Zarkon contacts.
He's getting resources telling Zarkon, oh, it's for you. But, he's just building up his own little fiefdom.
Right. Yeah, and it does a lot to just tell you that the Galra they're spineless. Their power comes from their leader, and that's it. Whereas the Paladins, their power doesn't really come from Shiro. Their leadership, they get their leadership from Shiro. But they also are independent. They're willing to help. They want to do what they can.
And they'll stand up to, if Shiro does something that they don't agree with, they would stand up.
Right. So it's a good juxtaposition between just how terrible the Galra are and cowardly and just horrible a race they are. Now I sound like the space racist. But the only other thing I had, I believe Allura was still in Keith's Lion when they formed Voltron, and they didn't really harp on that at all. But you never saw her get back into the castle because he went straight into the battle. And I wonder if that's going to come back later on, and in the future season, Allura develops a connection with maybe even Red Lion. And if Keith needs to pilot Black, you got someone. Which one in the original series? Which one did she?
She was blue.
Blue. Okay. I always get these all mixed up.
Yeah. Lance was in the red and she was in the blue.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Finn was in the blue.
Yeah. And Pidge was still green, right?
Yeah. Pidge and Hunk were still green and yellow.
Okay. Green. Yeah. Okay. Right. So
it would be a nice nod, but still mixing it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And Kuran's not going to be able to pilot the line. that outfit he wore was just, it seems straight out of like an early 80s, late 70s anime.
I feel, wasn't that, I swear someone on the original Voltron wore that outfit. I swear that was a throwback.
I think it was one of those other mecha shows.
Okay. I swear it reminded me of...
Leave us feedback.
Yes, leave us feedback and tell us where
you want to correct us.
Kuran's ridiculous. Yeah, we're not going to correct ourselves. We want the feedback. You won't hear us say we're going to save the emails. We want the emails.
Yeah.
I got a kick out of Lance being so worried about Allura and Keith being in the same pod together.
Yeah, it's like, are you two together?
Is she with you or is she with you? And it's, they've set these characters up so well that in the middle of this tense, terrible battle, Lance is like, but no, really, you guys didn't do anything, did you? So yeah, another great season 6, man. Season 2. I was looking at episode 6. Yeah, trucking along, and I'm pretty sure we're about to get to one of the best episodes of the first 2 seasons, if not one of the best episodes of television I've seen in quite a while, coming up soon. So
yeah, so it should be fun.
And I think we'll have a special guest for the next episode, won't we?
Yeah, just maybe.
Yeah.
So. If you're a fan of transmissions, stick around.
And if you're not, first of all, why aren't you? And second of all, listen anyways. It's not going to kill you.
Yeah. So I guess that is it. Unless you have anything else to bring up.
No, I think I'm good.
All right. So, and just a reminder, please leave us feedback, correct us. Emails feedback@povpodcast.com. Twitter is POV_podcast, and Facebook is POV podcast. So, and Jason is Jason S. Kirk on Twitter. I'm yakko.org, yakko with the 0 and DOTORG. I need to have something better where I don't have to just spell it out every time.
Well, people should know you by now. It's not your fault. It's on the website too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Find us on the website.
So that's it. So thanks for watching or listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.